20 years ago, my go-to kitchen tool was an 8-inch chef's knife, but the one I owned was such poor quality, I used to daydream about the day I could finally afford a real knife. So when I landed my first professional job and got my finances in order, I decided it was finally time to treat myself to that long-awaited upgrade. I waited for a sale, then headed to the department store. Back then, the store had an older gentleman who was their resident knife expert, responsible for the high-end selection. I spent some time talking with him about the differences between the various brands, and while I was still deciding, the older gentleman went on his break. A younger employee from another department stepped in to cover for him. Once I finally settled on the knife I'd been eyeing, I picked it up and headed to the checkout to buy it. Now, the knife I chose was almost $200 at regular price, but on sale for about $140. But the young guy behind the counter rang it up at $40. So I said, "What did you say?" And he interrupted me and repeated, "$40? I said, "I don't think that's right." He pulled out a price list, pointed at an item and said, "CE? It's $40. I pointed out, "That says 6-inch sandwich knife." And he nodded uncomprehendingly. I held up my knife and said, "This is an 8-inch chef's knife." And I was about to help him find the correct price, but he held up his hand in a rude way to cut me off and said, "Ma'am, these knives are high-end. If you're looking for something cheaper, you should try that section over there." I was so shocked, I just stared at him. Then I